Just like the way it tastes.
Like the way it tastes.
So it can also be
Healthier options. Like, is it? I mean, what kind of things do we put in the smoothies?
Spinach.
Fruits, spinaches, milk, ice.
Yeah.
We're not going to put a Whataburger in there.
Why not?
That tastes horrible.
I mean, when you chew on a Whataburger, it kind of does the same thing, right?
I can't imagine what it tastes like. Hello.
Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Yeah, so we put fruits, veggies, liquids, stuff like that. We don't really put meats in there because those kind of need to be cooked. One of the key things I've noticed with smoothies is you know it's a great way, like you said, to quickly get a lot of things in at the same time. Something I think is really popular about smoothies is they're so easy, relatively easy prep time, and you can create a very nutrient dense food in a very, very short amount of time, depending on what you put in it. You know, you can make them healthy, unhealthy. Has anybody ever been to I think down here it's called Smoothie King? Is that what it is? Back home there's like Jamba Juice and all that stuff. Have you guys ever looked at the calories on some of those things?
Oh yeah. Especially like they have one it's like a muffle one, and it has like butter pecan ice cream in it. Mm-hmm. And so you see, you're like, oh, I want that. And then after you worked out, you're like, man, wait a minute. You know, but it's to build muscle. Mm-hmm. And it has like a muscle protein in it. So.
Yeah. Maybe a weight gainer or something like that. Basically definitely. To increase your caloric intake. So I know from my personal experience, I know some people who've taken smoothies and turned them into weight gainer shakes just because, you know, your stomach only has a certain amount of space in it. So they wanted to get as many calories in as humanly possible in a relatively small amount of space. So to do that, smoothies or shakes was the way to go because, you know, if it's liquefied, you can get it down really, really quickly and get a lot of it in. So what are some of the benefits of smoothies, or what would we use them to replace in our diet if we were trying to be healthier?
Vitamins, definitely. Mm-hmm. Things that you're not consuming with your daily food intake.
Yeah. Ice cream? Anybody like ice cream? Yeah. So I know frozen yogurt is really popular now too. Smoothies are also a great substitute for milkshakes or ice cream because I know, let's face it, we live in Houston. It gets a little warm from time to time, and we might want to, you know, partake in something that's cool or cold even. So smoothie is also a great way to facilitate that because you know everybody has gets cravings for stuff. So meals versus snack smoothies. So has anybody ever had a meal replacement shake? Yeah. Has anybody ever heard of Slim Fast? Mm-hmm. Has anybody ever had Slim Fast? That's actually it's actually a meal replacement shake. So most people would drink it. A lot of people would. This was an issue with them is people would drink them in addition to their normal caloric intake and thinking, oh, it's a healthy food. I'm gonna keep losing weight with it. Well, the fact is there were actually meal replacement shakes. So you were actually taking in way more calories. And that's the perfect example of what we kind of were touching on earlier, is being able to get a lot of calories in a very small amount of space if you were trying to gain weight. And then snack smoothies, you know, we want to think about using fruits, vegetables, lighter stuff. You know, things, the fiber from the fruit or the vegetables should keep you full and sustain energy until your next meal if you're snacking. Now, if you are wanting to do a meal replacement shake, you would want to do something a little heavier. We're actually going to be making kind of one of each today. We're going to have a lighter, healthier, or a lighter, snackier one. We're also going to have a healthier one that has peanut butter in it. I don't know about y'all, but I love peanut butter. So there's all different manner of things that you can put into smoothies, and it's excuse me, make it yours. make sure there's liquid in it. If you've ever tried using a blender with just dry stuff, it doesn't work very well. It kind of goes everywhere. So use less liquid for more shake-like consistency. If you want it to be really, really thick, water, milk, juices are really popular. We actually have some almond milk up here that we're going to use if you're lactose intolerant. So just make sure that there's liquid in there, and then you can kind of add or subtract the liquid to get it the consistency that you like. Fruit, depending on what you want to put into your smoothie. If you want it to be all veggies, that's fine. I want something sweet with mine. Fruit is always a great way to go. Bananas, berries, apples, oranges, pineapple, anything. I already touched on vegetables. So fat, optional. Nuts, seeds, nut butters tend to work best because they're already ground up. This is also a great way to add some thickness to a smoothie if you're wanting to make it a little heartier. Increase that consistency to where it's more like a milkshake. So you feel like you're satisfying that craving. Say you really want a chocolate milkshake, but you don't want the unhealthiness of it. There's an option that you can make your own smoothie, and it'll probably be way, way healthier for you. Protein, really, really popular, like Cece said, was they have muscle building shakes. So a lot of companies or people will add protein powders into them. Some people will add beans or tofu. Yogurt's a great one, Greek yogurt, especially if you're trying to increase your protein without increasing your fat content or sugar. And then flavorings, depending on what type of flavoring you use, though, it could increase the calories. So, if you use cocoa powder, that's going to give it that nice chocolatey taste. But if you use chocolate syrup, it would do the same thing, but it'd probably add considerably more calories. So those are things to be mindful of if you're trying to get flavor added in. If you want a vanilla-y flavor, you could just add vanilla extract as opposed to, throwing in vanilla ice cream. Let's see. Honey is great for a sweetener. Agave syrup, maple syrup. Kind of depends on what you're trying to do. Maple syrup I would think would be good if you were trying to make a pancake flavored smoothie. Man, I don't know. I might try that now. I don't know. That sounds pretty good. Cool. No pancake flavored smoothies?
I use agave syrup, but never use maple.
I've never used it either, but now I'm kind of intrigued. Does anybody have any questions about anything before we're going to start putting these things together and making these smoothies?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay, so of course, can't speak to everybody, but I'm a fat girl. I love fasts. I love seeing when things work. I bought a book called The Smoothie Cleanse. Mm-hmm. It's the author. Her name is J.J. Smith. So she has a whole book about the 30-day smoothie cleanse. And in that book, she suggests that you do, I want to say it's like 2 smoothies in a day and then a meal, but in between those, snack. So would you say that that's a good thing? I mean, she has all the ingredients of what you should, all the different types of smoothies that you can create, and then she has meal plans behind it. But she's saying for breakfast, maybe do a smoothie, for dinner, do a smoothie, and lunch, let it be some type of food, mm-hmm. or however you want to do it. Even if you're doing breakfast as a meal, 2 smoothies in the towards the evening. But I want to try this, but of course I haven't went to the store and bought the materials. Mm-hmm. But I just wanted to know what your thoughts were.
I guess it would depend on the content of the smoothie. If you're trying to lose weight, you would want your caloric intake to be less than your caloric expenditure. So you want to make sure you're burning more calories than you're taking in. Regardless of what, you want to make sure that you're eating nutrient-dense, healthy foods, which smoothies are great for that. So as long as you were still, getting in enough, calories to make sure that your body was still functioning, I don't see that there would be anything wrong with it. I don't know that it would technically cleanse anything per se, just because, it would be healthier if that, say normally you eat Whataburger for 3 meals a day. If you switch to smoothies 2 meals a day and 1 Whole Foods meal for the other day, it's going to be way healthier. I guess it would just depend on what you put in those smoothies, and kind of in comparison to what your normal diet is. It's individualistic for everybody, but I mean, it's one of those things also, you can try it out. I mean, yeah, do it for 2-3 weeks. If you don't like it, kick it.
Yeah.
If you do, stick with it. Any other questions or anything about smoothies? No? Does anybody have like a smoothie that they have like, I don't know, on a daily basis or on a weekly basis or anything like that? No? Does anybody even
I do have a question.
Yeah.
With the part where say protein, you don't put any grains in here, but some of the grains give you protein too.
It would depend on the grain. So the problem with grains would be that they would need to be cooked. I guess it would depend on the grain.
I do.
You cook it and then put it.
Freeze it.
Yeah, you could do that. I know I've put like uncooked oatmeal in my smoothies before, but I wouldn't recommend throwing in like uncooked rice or quinoa or anything like that because it would probably be really, really crunchy. But I don't know. Yeah, it would. I guess it would depend on the grain and whether or not you needed to cook it. But I mean, that's one of those. That's the fun thing about these is it's do it however you want and kind of make it your own. You can put whatever you want into them, and usually they don't turn out bad, regardless. Nobody else has a regular smoothie or anything that they like. What about you? What's the last smoothie you had?
I can't remember. I do that whenever I'm like running late or something.
Yeah. So
Like all the time.
convenience is a big factor for people. Cool.
I know Smoothie King has on Fridays, they have the $5 smoothies. And so one of the ones I always get is the, I want to say it's like greens and pineapples. It's like the green and pineapple smoothie is so good.
That sounds awesome.
It's really, really good. So.
Well, and that's the nice thing about fruits in comparison to vegetables, because how many people have heard eat your vegetables? Nobody, really? Okay. But how many people actually eat their vegetables? A handful. Yeah, it's not as much fun eating vegetables, right? So that's the nice thing about smoothies is it's a great way to be able to sneak vegetables in. I don't like using the word tricking or the phrase tricking your body, but you can kind of trick yourself into eating more vegetables by throwing in, I know you all mentioned spinach. You throw a bunch of spinach in a blender and then you throw in some apples and pineapples on top of that. What's it going to taste like? Apples and pineapples. And I love apples and pineapples. So, if that's going to help me get more greens in, then yeah.
For me, I'm used to eating my vegetables.
Mm-hmm.
So since this smoothie has been about blending your vegetables, I've tried it. It's just hard to swallow it for me. So it doesn't get very far in my throat. So I guess it has to be really liquidy for me to actually drink it instead of it being
Chunky.
thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah. That reminds me. There was another bag? Because I remember there was another bag in the fridge.
No, in the freezer.
Oh yeah, but in the other one, in the other side.
Why don't you come inside?
Yeah, you want to go grab that real quick? There's a bag with milk and spinach in it. Milk and spinach. Yep. Thank you. You reminded me that we hadn't brought the milk over yet, or the spinach. Yeah, that happens because so the fiber content in the vegetables actually I don't like to use the word gelatinizes, but it thickens, you know what I mean? Because that's what fiber does, is it absorbs water. So that's probably why when you put like spinach and stuff in it, it seems like it gets a lot thicker, and it does make it kind of hard to chew on, or not chew on, I guess swallow. That would kind of probably depend on your blender and the speed you're working with, because that could affect that. she's actually going to go grab the rest of the materials for our smoothies, and then we'll get started. Yeah.
I've seen my niece thinking in the morning she blend a whole bunch of fruit and vegetable,
Mm-hmm.
and then she store it in the refrigerator thinking she's gonna drink it when she comes home. She didn't have to fuss with it. In my mind, I think what she's gonna end up with less nutrition that she's gonna get.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure. I'm just thinking that way, but you can.
You mean just from
verify that.
just from
Because
storing it?
I think that a lot of the veggie, when you break it down like that and you leave it,
Mm-hmm.
the oxidation kind of deter the taste, first of all, and secondly, don't you lose nutrition?
I couldn't say exactly how much you would lose, but it wouldn't by increase, like, you know, chopping it up like that. Yeah, you would increase the exposure to oxygen, which would, you know, who's ever had an avocado and as soon as you cut into it and then like 30 seconds later it's brown, right? So I could see that happening. I guess it would just depend like how long she left it for. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that would be enough time for it to. I mean, if she did it in the morning and then ate it in the evening, it would probably be a little soggy, I would assume. And then nutrition-wise, I don't know if it would start to break down that much, but yeah, I wouldn't go much longer than that for sure.
Just reblend it and drink.
Yeah, shake it up, right? Yeah, exactly. That's why we got shaker
I have a
bottles.
solution for her, and I think you might like it. So on the weekend, freeze whatever recipe you have, just store it on proportion like in a bag
In the freezer bags.
and label it, and then that's all she has to just dump everything.
Dump it.
It's so convenient now.
Mhm.
She start doing that twice a day now instead of doing
What she was doing. That's smart.
Oh yeah. Well, and I know there's companies that actually already have pre-made bags. I want to say it's Dole has these little pre-smoothie bags made up where it's like a little tiny Ziploc bag that has a bunch of strawberries, bananas, and then like frozen yogurt chunks already in it. So basically, all you got to do is add liquid and go, and blend it together, and it just goes. Now those ones may not be exactly the healthiest because. Well, you don't know if they added extra. You would have to check and make sure it's actually just fruit and yogurt. Yeah. Yeah.
Have you heard anything? Because I've heard before. Now, obviously, you're gonna have a Ninja or some type of blender to make it happen. But if you say you're blending avocado in your smoothie, actually blending the seed. Have you heard of that?
I have not.
It's supposed to be. They say it's supposed to be it has a lot of nutrients in that seed.
I try it, I don't like it.
You tried it? It blended up well.
I don't like it.
All right.
And hey, yeah, I heard
We do.
also, it's, a lot of times in these plants, like for instance strawberries, that like their the leaf on top has a lot of nutrients, but then you have to be careful with strawberries because of the pesticides. They, so much out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. I need a garden, but my front garden will be so good.
All right. So if you all flip over on the back here, we have a few different smoothie recipes already made up for you guys. Today we're going to be making you the PB&J smoothie and the green smoothie. So I'm going to start mixing these together, and then we'll give out some samples. Sound good to everybody?
Sounds good.
Cool.
Would you need help with anything?
Actually, yeah, that'd be great.
Is one of these a meal smoothie and the other one is the other?
So I wouldn't necessarily say I guess portion size would depend on what makes it a meal or a snack smoothie. Because if you drink a whole bunch of it, it's going to fill you up more. But if you just have a little bit, it's not going to be so much. The PB&J smoothie will definitely be heartier and thicker because we're going to put peanut butter in it. And the green smoothie is going to be much, much lighter because it's just going to be veggies, a banana, and soy milk.
Drink some and
Tastes more like banana.
I didn't see it though.
That's a reason.
Look at that.
Yeah, spinach, almond, and this one, let us know how it goes.
Good.
And we're just making the, what is this one?
The PB&J, it's taking a little bit longer, but we got it done. Oh, we improvised it with the lid. That's perfect.
Oh, yeah, right?
Everybody try the green one? What do you think?
Yeah.
The one that I'm willing to try say it's good, so.
I mean, that's the one with the veggies in
She
it.
offered. Y'all all trying the PB&J?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead and grab, pass those around. And I'll hook y'all up. All right, so. It's pretty, this one's thicker. I know we're cutting short on time. You're welcome. So, of course, when you blend it yourself, you can make it as smooth as you want it. How's that one? Sorry, as you're consuming it.
It's chunky.
It's chunky. And that's my bad. Probably the ice, yeah. Probably put too much ice, yeah. Trying to, you see me? He's like, well, this is not margaritas. This is not margaritas, you see. Okay.
Let's switch. It's not that much.
Yeah, this is not margaritas. But margaritas are smoother. Yeah.
Smells good.
Yeah, it does smell good. I know. Can you give me a spoon?
So what kind of jelly?
Sorry.
What kind of jelly is in here?
No jelly, it's actually just strawberries.
Yeah, nice strawberries. Yeah, you need a cup? He needs a cup. And then I can just pull it out actually. It'll be much better. So y'all are getting milkshakes. Huh?
Yes, everyone put their name in their card.
Sorry.
Okay. Alright, so I'm gonna do the
I don't
round
want
one.
to get on the pink. So let's put it right here.
Alright, so come for your name.
Strawberry. Back to the chutney. Y'all take the peanut butter?
Yeah, I take the peanut butter in the left.
So which one was
The green one.
the green one?
Green one.
The green one.
What does he say for it? Look at your picture.
Different vegetables? I mean, you could use beets.
I'd probably say the green one
If
tastes
you like
better.
beets, kale's another one. A lot
I
of
smell the peanut butter. and
leafy
stuff
green
tastes-
vegetables would be
Okay.
good.
You
Anything
taste
that's not
it?
like real thick
Like
and
I don't-
Smell
stuff,
it,
because
but you
that's
don't
gonna
taste
Yeah, the smell's
just
strong.
kind
The
of get
taste
chopped
of
up
peanut
into
butter
chunks.
too much there.
So leafy stuff, peppers,
Yeah.
you know, would be good too. It just kind of depends how you cut them up. But yeah, leafy green vegetables usually tend to work best because they can get shredded up.
Very tangy amount of peanut butter.
Whereas the
Really tasted.
thicker stuff probably wouldn't go as well, just because it's harder to cut into for the small
Who's
blades.
Fatty George? That's you?
Great.
Great. Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. All right. So you won the raffle.
Oh,
There
shit.
you go. You get to choose between which one you want. You want the blender or do you want the? Yeah, we have. I'm not sure.
I think I'll take the blender.
Alrighty, here you go.
Yay. I enjoyed it.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Well, I've got
Oh, damn, sorry.
Okay, okay.
Damn.
But you may want to make
Does anybody have any questions?
Nope. Interesting. Appreciate it.
Sorry about the delay, everybody. It's just miscommunication on our part. Thank you all for showing up. We appreciate it. Thank you. Next week, we're having one on Tuesday.
I saw a lot of my recipes online. I tried a couple of things.
Yeah, no, that's.
One of my friends told me to try the coffee.
I mean, I can see that being okay. I like coffee flavored ice cream.
Me too. I mean, I like coffee, but I didn't work coffee now.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Food.
Yeah.
See you
I
next
can see that.
One of my friends told me to try with the soda.
Yeah, it just kind of depends, you know.
Would you like me to?
But I don't
Yeah.
like.
Thank you so much.
Well,
Yeah, my pleasure,
I
man.
think almond milk is so milk or like HB is the best almond milk. This one's thicker, but it's better with smoothies.
You do a smoothie. Can I do it join this?
That is the name of that or